Welcome back into the workshop. Today we've got to, we had these three dropped off. These things are kind of duplicates because I have had this machine here. It's a chainsaw that I've worked on. I don't remember if I had a video on that one or not. It's a Craftsman, 16-inch. We had the Stihl HS45 hedge trimmer. I know I had this one. We replaced a carburetor on it. New air filter, a couple of little things I think, maybe new plug something. It was running good. And then we've got a weed string trimmer here. That's a new one. He says it's been sitting around a while and just hasn't got it started. So it says it starts, but it won't run very well. So we'll just investigate that. But I guess part of my question is these two others that I've had already, they've both had them out. They've both run them for, what, about a month, I think. And bring them back in with problems on them. How much of that's warranty, how much of it's not warranty, I really don't know what the regular shops get. Like I say, I'm just kind of a handyman that works on this stuff and figures them out. But if they're running good and they run for a while and then just quit on them, how much liability should somebody have on that? Now this one here, I've kind of looked at it a little bit, and I've opened the tank up, and this is a 2-stroke motor. And I've looked in there, and that gas looks like just plain gas, and it's really quite weak smelling also. So I'm almost wondering if he didn't fill that up with something, water or something, and that's why it won't start. He said it was running good. He refilled it with gas, and now it won't run at all. So I'm really kind of blaming the gas on that. He was kind enough to go buy me some good mixed gas. He mixed it up himself, fresh out of the tank. So we'll go ahead and flush this one, I think, first, and see if we can get it going. I don't know if that's going to be the issue or not, but like I say, it's got all new parts in it, so it should go. This one here, I don't remember exactly what I had done with it before. I don't think there was a whole lot to it, but he says it just won't start. So we'll have to see what that boils into and see if it's something I've done before. Or, like I say, it's cut trees already, so we'll find out. So let me go ahead and pull the hedge trimmer up here because I want to go ahead and flush that out, and just seems like that's probably where the problem's going to be. So we'll start with that. Okay, I've poured the gas out. It does look like gas, but it's, I don't know. Something ain't quite right with it. It definitely is not mixed. So what we're going to do, once we get it out of there, of course we got to prime your bulb and get as much of the fuel out of your carburetor as possible. So we're going to go ahead and just add some fuel in here. We're going to flush the carburetor out good, dump that out, make sure it's good gas, and then we'll go ahead and finish filling it on up. So we'll see what that does for it. Okay, I've got the thing all gas back up again with some fresh gas in it. We'll go ahead and prime it good, and I guess we'll go ahead and choke it, I think, yes. Let's see if that gets her going here. Let's pull it a couple times. A little gas, see if that helps. Yeah, she's popping over. Let's see if we can get her to stay running now. She's not quite staying going though. When it's on choke, it'll start. That's better than it was doing. Let her warm up a little bit. Not quite wanting to respond correctly here. Well, I see part of the problem here. Well, no. That looks good too. I wonder if it got a little something in there when they changed that gas out. There was a little bit of trash that did come down into there, so maybe we'll have to, it's got a good filter on there. I wouldn't have thought it would got anything in there. Anyways, let me kind of look it over and see what we come up with. Okay, we're going to take a break on that other thing right now because I took it apart and I checked the carburetor. It looks like it's clean, but every time I go to start it, it just floods out. So I don't know if that little diaphragm in there almost acts like it's all wrinkled up for whatever reason. I don't know if that was caused by the gas in it did he put in there? That's about the only thing I could guess is wrong fuel. We'll go ahead and get us either a rebuild kit or a new carburetor for it and see if that don't fix it up. So we'll go on and move on to the Craftsman chainsaw, and he says that this thing, it was running, like I say, when we started out. Now it just plain won't crank. So we're going to go ahead and pull the cover off of this real quick. And let's see if we're, so it ain't that size. It's like a T20. I believe that's just a regular T20 to go on that one. Yeah. Pull these couple screws off of here. Let's see if anything's, looks like it's messed up inside of it. And try to keep my arms and all out of your way. This is the tough part of getting this. Like I say, now these things, I work on all these things, but I don't know everything in the world about them. So we're going to go ahead and just see if we can see anything obviously wrong with it again. It actually acts like that was hitting a little bit more than it should. Wonder if that's supposed to have been up that way. Make sure that ain't the problem. Almost got a kink in that. I don't know where that come from. Alrighty, we have to see. Other than that, don't look bad. Looks like it's pulling over. Still got pressure. Choke's still working. On off switch is good. I can't really see down in there to see where it's catching that, but I think it's good. So we'll go ahead and maybe pull this over one time and see if we can get her to fire up. Okay, I've taken this apart. I took the plug off of this. It was severely wet. I mean, it was soaked, so that could be it. So we're going to go ahead and try to start this thing. We're not going to put any choke to it. We've got the switch in the run position. We're hooked back up. Let's see if we can get it to fire up. See if just, might have been just that flooded and filled. So I've seen that before. So let's see what we got. I think that's all it was. He just flooded it out severely. So we'll go ahead. We're going to put the thing all back together again and see if that don't take care of it. I don't know what else to tell them. So let's see what we can do. We'll put it back together. I think it's going to run fine. We'll try it one more time before I take it back to them. Maybe we'll let it set for the night. Come back out here, make sure it's good and cold, and try it over again. So put the cover back on it. Make sure that this is, I don't know exactly where that's supposed to sit. It looks like it was squeezed in there. I don't know if that's always been that way or not. Looks like it might have been, so we're going to try to be a little more careful setting that down in, I think. See if that sits. Sure don't act like it's binding on anything, so I think we'll be all right with that. I might have had it up underneath there. All right, let's finish screwing that down. We'll set it off to the side. We'll try it again tomorrow and make sure it still runs, and we'll go from there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on now to the Echo. What is this? SRM225. I did dump what little bit of gas was in there out, and I've put some more gas, fresh gas in. We're going to go ahead and see if it'll prime at all. And it's not doing anything. Like I say, he said this thing's been setting a little bit, but he did have it running, he claimed, so. Well, that ain't getting any gas up to it that way. Let's take the filter off here. Just take a quick look at that. See what that's up against. It's got a little filter in there. It's not real bad shape. Dirty inside the cover. We'll clean that up a little bit. It's definitely not pumping any gas though. So I think what we're going to have to do is take these gas lines off. Make sure they're not plugged somehow. Maybe pull the whole carburetor off and see if we can clean her up. That might be the easiest way to go about this. So I think that's what we're going to try to do. To get this carburetor off, let's see if we can zoom you in here enough to where you can see what I'm doing. I think we could probably just loosen this nut here, keep this one kind of in place. That'll pop the little throttle cable here out of there, I believe. And then we'll be able to pull that system off. A couple of looks like 20. Yeah, let's see what I do have here. Yeah, that's a couple of T25s. We'll pop the carburetor rest away off. We'll get into this thing, see what we got here, because it definitely is not doing anything. So we might be able to do some of this without tearing it totally down. And see what we can get tore apart here. Okay. Really want to get these lines off of there and make sure there's not a problem with those. Let's see if we can maybe take this little piece here off. Let's see what that does. I thought it might have been a 10 millimeter, but it's not. Let's see. That might be a standard. Somebody put this in the wrong spot. Nope. Let's go with standard. See if it's that maybe. It's I'm not very good at guessing sizes, I guess. What in the world size is it? Let's see. It's 7/16 is too big. Well, it's not that one. 3/8. It's too small. So that means it should be metric. We tried, I thought, 10, didn't we? Unless somebody, oh, that's why somebody hung a 10 millimeter on the 11 millimeter. That doesn't help us much. That's better. Yeah, I don't like it when I do have people coming and working in my shop a fair amount actually. So that's all we do to take that off of there, and then we're going to hang that back on the 10 millimeter slot right there. Like I say, you can see that's it's 10, 11. They slid it on there. I may have done it myself. Who knows? Okay, and we're going to make sure that we got our clear one is going to be on the front side, and our darker tube is going to be on the back side. Our dark tube, if we look in here, should be our return, I'm thinking. No, this is our suction, and this is our return. So this will be where what our filter's attached to, and this one just goes in and sits inside the tank. I don't know if you could actually see that down in the tank or not with this, but you'll have to trust me on that, I guess. Why not? Okay, so we'll take this, see if we can peel that one off. Peel this one off. There we go. Carburetor's off. We'll clean that up, see if it does something. Lines don't really look too bad. I don't know if they're leaking or not. I don't have these particular lines, but we might have to. They both look good. So, and this is just the vent for your tank, so that looks all right. That's probably good anyways, especially when we have it wide open like that. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to take this thing apart, see if we can get into it, see if we find some trash in there, see if we can clean it up. It's down there good. For some reason, it shouldn't be that difficult to get off of there. So let's take it off. We'll pull this out also. Looks nice and clean inside of there. And this just spins a little different than a lot of the carburetors with the butterfly in there. This is actually just a cylinder. So that does not look bad. This here should come off of there, and it's not wanting to too badly. Let's see if we can kind of pry on it a little bit. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. This one here, I forgot. This does have a screw in it. I forgot about that. That's going to help a bunch if I can take that screw out of there. There we go. Yeah, it's very dry. Slowly peel that off of there. It don't look like it's in bad shape. It's just very dry. And just be careful with them so we don't tear them. Yeah, it don't look too bad. And this side here's got a little bit of dirt there, but I think that's all right. I think we'll go ahead and start just flushing it a little bit. Looks pretty good right there, so that should be fine. And let's go ahead and take this side off while we're at it. Go ahead and get everything tore apart, cleaned up. Okay, a little diaphragm, we checked that, make sure it don't have any holes in it, and it actually feels pretty darn good. It's still pliable, it moves pretty easily. So we'll go ahead and set that back on there. And we check our little needle valve, make sure it's not sticking. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. The whole carburetor really looks to be pretty darn decent. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll just flush everything out with carburetor cleaner. Flush all our gaskets off here, make sure they're good. Clean all this up. Like I say, just a little bit of carb cleaner and we'll put her all back together. Okay, a little update here. I don't know if we can see this real well. I'm going to try to get you focused in on it. I cleaned it all up. We put a new primer bulb on there and I tested this to see if I could get anything, but I didn't have, so I went back. These little ports right here, you got to have one of these little, what they call torch tip cleaners, and you need to really make sure that they're cleaned out. And this little port here goes straight on through, so you can see that's all the way through, that's clear. That had some trash in it. This other port goes from this one all the way in, so you want to make sure that you're cleared all the way to this port, and I've cleared both of those. And then I just hooked up a little spare piece of hose and I blow through there and make sure you can get air through them. The other one you can see right through, so shouldn't have any problem there. But that's how you make sure those little ports right there can plug up, and I think I've got everything out of there. I've flushed them with a little bit of cleaner again, so our gaskets are going back on, and we'll see if it now will prime, because I wasn't able to get any of that before. So let's see if we can put her back together and see if it'll actually prime up some gas here. Okay, I've stuck a little piece of gas line on this now and see if we can do anything at all. So we'll pump this thing. It's a little longer gas line than what it would normally have, but it's at least pulling some fuel up to it now where it wasn't before. So I'm not filling it all the way, but it's getting better. So we'll go ahead and stick that on there and see if it's enough to pull from the tank, which is a whole lot less than my gas line here and easier probably to get to. So let me do that. We'll stick her back together and see if she'll maybe crank, or if this carburetor just got too much little ports that are plugged that I can't get to. So let me put her on and see what we got. Okay, we got her all put back on there, and we've given it a couple of pumps, and you can see that thing filled right up with fuel. So we're definitely 100% better than we were, because we're actually able to get fuel up to the carburetor. That sure does help get her started. We've got everything tightened down. I think we'll go ahead and just see what the darn thing will do here. I don't know. Let's see, we'll turn the power switch on there. Choke is up, so we'll go ahead and choke it a time or two here. Let me get this fluid up a bit. Let's see if she'll pop off at all. That'd make me happy if it would. Well, that's encouraging, isn't it? Popped right off. Oops, there we. Let's go half choke. Well, back to full choke. it's running, but it ain't running good. So there ain't a whole lot of adjustments on these carburetors for these Echoes. So I don't know. I just think we're probably wasted a lot of time cleaning her up. But we did make some progress. At least it starts. But I really don't have a whole lot of adjustments I can make to it. I don't believe there's anything there I'm going to be able to do a whole lot of adjusting to get that cleared out. We might let her set, see if that just gets some moisture on those diaphragms will help out a bit probably. So let's let that one sit for a little bit and we'll try it again, and we'll look for a new carburetor too, because we may need to just go ahead and swap that out. But at least it started, and it actually is acting more like what he said it was going to do. Just it won't stay running on its own. So I believe is what we had on that. Starts but won't get up and go, which is exactly what I'm running across, and I think that's just the carburetor. It's not going to do it for us. So let me see if we can find one of these for the little thing, and looks like we're going to end up with 2 carburetors to replace. They both want to do about the same thing, not run worth a darn. So anyways, let's see what we can do with them. Okay, what seems like just a little bit for y'all has been a little bit for me, because we've been waiting on parts. But I've got some new parts come in from Hipa, and they take care of all kinds of parts and pieces for lawnmowers and small engines like this. So they've got us a new carburetor kit, so we've got that in here. Hopefully this will take care of the problem. We'll go ahead and pull this apart and just take a couple of minutes to get her swapped out, and hopefully that'll fix our problem. We'll have us another good looking running piece of equipment. In their kit they do provide, let's see, make sure we've got the right kit on that. So we'll look that over, make sure I grab the right one, and then we'll go from there. So let me go ahead and get the kit ready, and we'll pop just a couple of screws off of this. We showed you that I think earlier, taking the 2 bolts off. That'll pull this off and the carburetor will come right on off. So let me go ahead and get that set up. Okay, we've got this all set up. We'll get that off, the 2 little nuts there, which will allow us this to be pulled off. And the only thing we'll have, I think we showed this before, but there's a little cable here on the bottom that just kind of comes loose, and we'll pull that on out of the way, and that detaches from that. And then we have our 2 fuel lines that we'll put back in there, and that's really all there is. Now in the kit that they send us, this is a pretty good little kit here. It comes with the spare cover if you need one of those. Sometimes those darn things just about a cover. It's expensive. Comes with new gaskets, the new carburetor, new air or gas filter, 2 primer bulbs, a new filter, and a new plug. Now some of this I've already put on this machine once before, so I don't think I'll need some of them, but we definitely need the carburetor. So we're going to go ahead and swap that out. Use the parts we need. We'll keep the other ones around in case we need them sometime. And like I say, that's all there is to that. We check it out, make sure that the carburetor looks exactly like the old one coming off, and it looks to be a pretty good match. So we'll go ahead and just pop those lines off of there, hopefully, nice and easily. Well, not too easily. Sometimes they're a little bit tough to get off, and sometimes they'll squirt gas at you too, so watch out for that. We'll stick that one right back on, and we'll stick this right back in place, and see if we can squeeze this one off of there. Might need to grab me a little pair of pliers here to just kind of wheel that back and forth a little bit to get it off of there. Come on. There we go. And we'll turn that right around and stick it right back onto that one, and we're good to go there. So we'll go ahead and finish getting the other part stuck on there. We'll be good with it. Okay, I did take that back off of there. I forgot to put the new gasket on there. I do like to put those on. Let's go ahead and just set this fuel line back in there. I hope you can see that. It's pretty easy. Just pretty much just throttle it up and pop it back in there. That's all that takes. And then we can take our cover and put it back on. And let's see here, did this have a gasket on that? It does have, and it's in good shape. So I think we're going to let that one ride. It's not going to leak, and that one's really keep the dirt out almost more so than anything. So we'll go ahead and bolt this back down. tighten her up, put the filter back in there, and let's see if we can get her to start. Alright, we've got her all put back on, sealed up. We'll go ahead and put this to choke. And then we're going to go ahead and prime the bulb, make sure we're getting gas up into it. I think the tank still had some in it, so we'll find out here real shortly. Ah yes, give it a couple good pumps. It looks like it's got gas going through it all right. So we should be able to get this, make sure we're not in the stop position, which should be that way, I believe. And we should be able to pull it over and see if she starts. She did start up. Let's give her another shot here, see what she's... choke her a little bit. That should go ahead and stay running there. We're not getting a whole lot of progress. Okay, that fired on up. I think most Stihls, they take a minute to warm up a little bit, play with the choke, but might check that idle a little bit more. But that one there looks like that's all it took. That other carburetor got messed up, so we'll go ahead, idle this thing down maybe a little bit, play with it a minute more, and call that good. And we'll move on to the other one we got a carburetor in for. So let me get that set up, and we'll show you that one. Okay, I've got the other one up on the desk. This was the Echo SRM225, and of course it wouldn't get up and go. So in this kit we did get them, they have sent us, we've got the carburetor, of course, the gaskets, 2 air filters, so we have a spare, that's good, a new spark plug, new primer bulb, and new fuel lines. So we'll go through all this and see what we can replace on this thing, see if we can't get her up and running. So the first part of it's of course going to be just take the air filter off, get rid of that, and then we'll need a, looks like probably a T25 in here. Let's see if that's right. Yep, and we should be able to bust this loose. Like I say, it's been a couple days for me. I don't remember exactly what all we had. I showed you about taking this apart already, but so some of this might be a repeat, but for me it's been a week or so since I put this in. So we'll go ahead and pull that off. That gets the carburetor loose, and we'll loosen that nut up and get the throttle out of here. This should spin right around and take out of that. That loosens up and takes that off. That pretty much gets us freed up there. And being as we do have a new gas line and all, we're going to go ahead and slide this down in. Shouldn't be a major issue. We should be able to match colors up. The black line will go to the back side. Make sure we do that the right direction. That's going to be our suction, and this will be our return, and of course the vent so that we can vent our tank. So let's go ahead and see if we can do this without making a big mess. That pops right out. Get that out of there. Hopefully the filter will fit through. It does. We'll set that off to the side. We'll take this one and slide it right back in. And this should just pop right back down into the tank. That other one came out a whole lot easier than this one's going in. So we might have to get a little screwdriver or something, press that thing down in there. It's a good tight fit, but you do want a good tight fit. So yeah, that's what it's going to take too, is to press it. That other one, probably if I'd have tipped it upside down, would have been leaking. So I wish I could tell you a good easy way to do this, but I don't really know of a good easy way. Most of the time they'll go in there, I might have to put a little bit of lubrication or something on there if I can't get it in right away. But we're going to try to just kind of poke it without doing too much to it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get a little lubrication on that thing, see if we can slide it down in. Okay, we got the, make sure this thing's getting us a little bit of what I'm getting at. Okay, so we've got the thing pushed down in there. That was a little bit aggravating, but it'll get down in there. Put our new gasket on here. Make sure we have our little holes here. There is a hole here that we need to make sure we line up. So that's going to sit on there like that. And then we can go ahead and pull this on around and set it back in place. And we'll hook our throttle back up. And all this will have to be done probably while you're still out a little bit. Spin this around. I don't know how well you can catch this the way I'm working on it. That's got to spin so that your cable will sit down in it. So this should be able to go like that and spin it around enough that the cable will drop down into the hole it's supposed to be in. And if I got that right, we'll be right. Oh, let's see something here. I might have that in the wrong direction. One way it fits into it and the other way it fits on it. So there we go. Yeah, make sure you have, one side of this has a bigger hole so that that little lead piece will go, or steel piece on the end of the cable will fit back in there. Alright, so we got that, and now we can go ahead and set the filter back on, and we make sure our gasket's here. It's sometimes easier to line it up this way, and then set it down onto the block, and then we'll go ahead and tighten her down. Okay, we got the throttle put back in place here. We tighten this nut down. I always try to leave the back nut back here where it is and just loosen this side up and then set it back in there, and that keeps your throttle good. We go ahead and pull on that, make sure it has full movement. We've put us a new air filter in here. I find these are easier to put them in the cover, and then put the cover back on. Make sure you put it on the right way. I believe it has a marking on here someplace, but yes, on the side here it does show the choke lever, so that'll be hooked up with that one there. So that should fit back on like that. If I can get it in there right, it will anyways. Okay. Okay, we've got that on. We've cleaned up around here a little bit. I've got it tied off down here. I do this quite a bit. I have a vise down here, and I just kind of set it down in there to kind of keep everything there. I don't tighten that up a whole lot. As you can see, it's just kind of loose, but it does give me a little more stable platform to try it. So we'll go ahead and see if the carburetor is going to go ahead and prime up, and it's getting gas into it. So that looks good. We'll give it a couple of good pumps, and then our choke is up. So I think we should be ready. Our on-off button is on. So we should be good just like that. Let's give it a couple of pumps and see what she does. Well, she looks like she's gonna fire. Let's take that choke off. And that looks like that's going to take care of that one. It's fired up, running good. We'll go ahead and run it around the yard out there and just test it a little bit more, but I think that's pretty much wraps those up. I think that was everything we had on this video going on at the time. So appreciate you watching. Hopefully some of this has been helpful, and we'll go ahead and turn this one over to the customer and call it another successful project, and we'll check with you on the next one. Thanks a bunch for watching, and don't forget, hit that like, subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff. It does help my algorithm out a little bit, and keeps me making videos, gives me a little bit of encouragement. So thanks a bunch. Bye.